Rest. Not something that we earn, justify, or apologize for, but as something sacred, intelligent, and very necessary. In this episode, we'll explore why rest is not a pause from your purpose, but part of how your purpose actually stays alive, especially for those who hold many roles, who give so deeply, who feel, sense, transmute, and carry more that is often visible to the outside world. Why cycles of quiet are not a sign that something is wrong, but is a sign that something is actually reorganizing underneath of the surface. So as you listen today, you don't need to fix anything or take any notes. Let this be a space where you can soften and without the need to be productive, where you can simply allow yourself to receive. This is an invitation into a different rhythm. And so I want to begin today's episode by just naming the tension that often is associated with the word rest for many people. And so many of us, right, we're carrying a lot. Many of us are caretakers, parents, partners, have careers. We're stewards of the home, the CEO of the home, the CFO of the home, the emotional anchor for our children. We're creators, leaders in our community. We're healers, and we're wearing all of these hats. And I want to be really clear that I'm not just speaking about women today. I know that a large portion of who I speak to is women, but I just want to say that it's not just us ladies, it's our men too that are wearing so many different hats and are also carrying the weight of a lot of things, sometimes that which we cannot even see. And that's a conversation for another time. So I want to get back to rest, like real rest. And it comes with guilt. How many of you can just totally relate and say, yeah, I feel guilty when I sit and rest, or when I take time off and it's not for, some big vacation or something. As if stepping back means we're letting somebody down. And sometimes it's not somebody else, it's actually ourselves, right? It's like we feel that if we slow down and we attune to a different pace, it kind of means that we're abandoning our passions or abandoning something that means something to us, something that we're creating. And it's not that we don't struggle with our devotion. So many of us, and I say us because I am in this same category. It's not about my devotion to my craft, to my purpose, to my soul's calling, but it's sometimes I just struggle with the permission of letting it be okay and not even asking permission, but just allowing myself to respond to what I'm going through. And when my body asks for rest, or my mind asks for rest, or my soul asks for rest, that I can show up to that as an act of offering to myself. And I can't not speak to the topic of rest without thinking of the earth as a teacher. Like the earth teaching us that rest is actually quite active. I think the earth has always known something that we as human beings have forgotten. We look at the seasons, and so we'll look to fall, autumn, and winter and say, the leaves are falling, the surface is, going quiet. There's nothing that's blooming. It's like, it can look like nothing is happening, right? But we all know that beneath the soil, everything is alive. The roots are strengthening and they're gathering in nutrients from, the leaves that are decaying. And it's like a redistribution of the nutrients. And how important is that? Like the seeds that are being tended to in the darkness, in the stillness. The earth is resting, but it is not idle. It's not sleeping, right? And without this phase, we all know, without the quiet, like the withdrawal, the rest, the coming down, there would be no spring. There would be no growth, and there would be no fruit. There would be no flowers if we didn't go through this cycle of rest. And so Mother Nature and Mother Earth being one of our greatest teachers, that rest is not the absence of an activity, it's actually activity that we cannot see. So when we think about those of us that are sensitive, especially sensitives, intuitives, and energetically attuned, that we're not meant to be in constant output. And when we rest, something is happening beneath the surface too. That's a time for me that I've recognized that my nervous system will recalibrate. Like I will go through a full recalibration when I take conscious time to rest. And when I say rest, I am not only speaking to my physical body. I think that's something that we always think, oh, I need to rest. Sometimes it's my mind that needs to rest. And so allowing my energy to redistribute. And oftentimes this is when my vision like reorients to what is my highest path forward? We're always so focused on where are we going? What is the future? What are we creating? And that's beautiful, but it's like in these sacred pauses, I'll just call it that because it's just what came forward. It's like our capacity to hold more, to be more, is actually restored in the quietness of sacred rest, sacred rejuvenation. And if the earth skipped the season of rest, it could not rebirth into spring, and neither can we. And so rest can actually look different for everyone. And that may sound slightly odd. And it comes in different forms. I know that I feel most active in fall and winter. I know that sounds like completely against nature's rhythms, but that is true for me. It's like when autumn comes and the temperature starts to change and the leaves are changing color, it's like I come alive from within. It's not the summer and it's just different for me personally. And I've actually done a deep dive into why that is. And it's quite fascinating. And I love that that's the way that I am. I love that I'm a little different. And I love that I use rest as a recalibration, but it becomes something different for me when my body rests versus, when my mind is resting. So sometimes when I feel completely tapped out, just like this has been a lot, you go through like a really big creative cycle or a really busy cycle, as a mom for me, of kids who were in sports, like all my sports mamas totally get it. Like we are just on the go. It's just a really fast pace between school and practices and games. It's just like nonstop. And so I'll go through these cycles and I'll just feel it's not just physical exhaustion, but it's like mental, like my creativity slightly dips. Like I just go through these phases, and it's like when I step away and I go hiking, it's actually rest for my mind. So I would just kind of encourage you to, even though I'm asking you to be in receptive mode and there's like no homework for this episode, it's like just maybe tune into or just become conscious to what does rest look like for you and feel like for you. Because I know for me, like when I go on a hike, that means like I'm driving for perhaps a couple of hours because I like to go to the mountains. And I'm being really physically active, right? Like I'm climbing up mountains and doing these things. And so that sounds counterintuitive. Well, if you need rest, why would you go do like this physically exhausting activity? But it actually supports my recalibration in so many ways because it is a rest for my mind. When I'm walking in nature and I'm just, really present and I see the leaves and I'll see like mushrooms growing on the side of the thing and I feel the breeze and I'll see like birds flying and, little animals and squirrels like rustling over in the leaves and like it is just so life-giving for me, even though I may be physically tired, but I am out in nature and I'm doing something that I absolutely love to do. And that's just going for these walks outside in nature, preferably when it's cool outside and not hot outside. But that is just rest for my mind, is to go out and be in nature. And sometimes that doesn't mean that I have to drive out of town and go up on a mountain. That's my favorite thing to do. But sometimes it's just a walk outside. And, when I think of soul rest, it's like I shift gears and it's more of, I like to put on soothing music. I love different frequency type musics and nature sounds and like meditative kind of music. And I'll light candles and I'll make a cup of tea and I'm just present with it. I'll notice the flickering of the candle and, the feel of the warm cup of tea in my hands. And as I sip and I just, listen to the music, it's just it's literally puts me like in a cocoon where my soul just rests. I'm very active on a soul level and I just am. That is my makeup. I am here to ignite soul and to do this soul level work. And so I feel that my soul is always active. And so when I take these moments of just presence with, I'm not figuring something out. I'm not being part of a collective solution. I'm just here with myself, with my breath, with my body, with, the candle, the music, and the tea. I just take this moment, and it doesn't have to be an entire day. I'm talking like a half hour, and it's just like, I was just able to recalibrate myself. And then when it does come to body rest, that's early bedtimes, and that's setting boundaries and saying, hey, I'm tired. I'm going to go to bed. And I love heavy blankets and salt baths before bed. And, maybe this is like, sitting in a rocking chair and just being there with nothing other than yourself, no props, no candles, no tea, no music, just being present. That for me is body rest, where I'm just in the present moment. I am here now, and I'm letting my body just process through the cycles that I've gone through. And it's like, if I don't give myself the opportunity to go into these three different, I guess, I don't know if you levels, phases, I don't know, but body rest, soul rest, and rest for my mind, then I hold on to so much. And so it's like, it's a little bit of a letting go and letting things recalibrate. And, there are times that I call in different guides, different, spirit beings to support in that process. And so that may be something you want to explore too, is, when I'm going through different cycles and I'm just feeling like a response to a cycle of creation, then I know it's time for me to take the time to go into rest. And I kind of want to just, there's often guilt, and I know I've mentioned that word already, but it's like, can we release the guilt narrative that rest doesn't mean that you're abandoning anything. It doesn't mean that you're abandoning, your family, your work, like all the things that we do. And we just reframe it into that you're tending your roots so that you can continue, so that you can continue with a clear mind and to be embodied and true to yourself without doing things out of obligation or, this desire to always be on because we think that that's when, we're most accepted or we're most important somehow, is when we're doing versus being. And sometimes what our families and our work and our lives actually need the most is not more doing, but more presence. And when we are able to step into the present moment and allow ourselves to be in sacred rest without the guilt, knowing that it is an active time and it is actually supportive to what we're here to do, it can just give us this peace that it's really hard to really describe. But, if you are in a quieter season right now, it's like, it doesn't mean that you're falling behind or that anything is lacking, that something's not working. Or maybe you're in a really busy time right now and, there are projects and, things for your kids and school and, all of the things. And you're getting ready to move into a quieter period. Like, allow that transition to be just smooth and gentle, knowing that it is just as important as any other cycle. It actually means that you're being tended to. And what a gift that is. Whew, if I just ended it right here, and I might actually, what a gift it is to be nourished and rejuvenated and restored, to give of our gifts and our time and our presence from a place of overflow. Wow, that was good. I'm going to say it again. What a gift it is to be nourished and rejuvenated and restored and to give from a place of overflow. I hope these words have been supportive and that as you respond to your body, mind, or soul's need for rest, that you can do so knowing that it is so needed. And you don't have to ask permission. You just get to take care of yourself, to tend to your needs, and to give from that place of overflow. Until next time, beloved, breathe deep into the embers of your soul flame.